This Wednesday is,
Okay.
but if you wanted me to stop by, say, on Thursday, I probably could, unless you are busy most of the day there.
Thursday. Let me see what I'm doing Thursday. Okay. I'll talk to the radio guys. And then I've got to go. Yeah, it's a busy day.
Okay.
Thursday and Friday. Maybe next week, Thursday would be good.
Okay.
What time do you get um kind of
Well, I get things settled about 12:30, um, and then I'd have to come back here at either 3:30, 4 o'clock, to finalize some logs and things like that.
all right, I'll put you down for is 1 o'clock too soon or you want
No,
more
we
time?
can do that.
Okay. So 1 o'clock shouldn't take very long.
Well,
I just want I
I
just
think
want you to
it's
look at
just
it.
just a quick assessment of what you have and what you might need to get.
I don't have anything. I don't.
You have a microphone, so
Well, I
that's
got a Yeti
something.
mic
Yeah.
and then I got this big wide computer, but where I'm going is I'd like to have, like I was watching this other agent's videos and I admit I was jealous. She did a good job. And that's high praise coming from me, you know. Um, but she did. She has them all kind of, they look like they're professionally recorded, but she just sits and talks in front of them. Um, but I would like to have the option to have a guest, right?
Right. Yeah.
And have somebody sitting shoulder to shoulder to me. So I need the video equipment set up. But I don't know how I'm
Shoulder
gonna do it.
shoulder shoulder to shoulder usually doesn't work out well. It doesn't sound as natural.
It
Usually
does
face to
not.
face. Correct. Face to face usually sounds better. Um,
Huh.
because you can look each other in the eye and get reaction, and it usually sounds more natural. That's the reason that we're across a table from each other, so that I can get visual cues from him and he can get visual cues from me.
No, that makes sense.
Um,
So I need to know how to soundproof that room, what equipment I need to buy,
the
and what
larger the
furniture.
room is, the harder it is to soundproof it.
The larger?
Correct.
Okay.
Because then you have more surfaces for sound to reflect off of. But it can all be done. It's you have to position pieces in a certain way so it doesn't reflect as much. Um, for example, if you aim a microphone towards a corner,
Mhm.
then it's not going to reflect the sound back into that microphone. Do you
Okay.
understand?
Well, I've got a couple of spaces, not just that one big room.
Okay.
I've got two little offices that are not being used. Um, besides this one that I'm in, it's a mess. I think who was it? Was it Richard that came by and I showed it to him? He goes, "Oh, that's what it really looks like." Sorry.
she
Uh,
she's
All
just
the
used
all
to
the
you coming
sound
by.
tiles are
Oh,
falling from the wall and it's a mess.
she said that her room was a mess that day.
Oh my God, it looks like my rooms. That's all. I mean, there's
uh,
I since threw most of them away, but it does the audio. Mark was saying, my husband was saying the audio on the radio sounds better, soundproofing this room. It did help.
And it usually does. It's just hard to maintain. The glue tends to wear out on the.
It was instantly. I mean, it had sticky thing behind it,
Yeah.
but then he glued it and they both fell off.
Well, I hate that glue that they try to push on you. Even what I've found the most success with is those really long air compressed staples.
Oh,
Those tend to hold it on there for quite a bit longer, but even that you want to reinforce it with some glue, and that's the most painstaking and time that you spend on building a studio. Because
well, I noticed even Costco has those vertical panels, those kind of brown sound panels.
yeah, and those are effective. And uh, if you're planning on moving around quite a bit, those are very helpful. But most people want something stationary.
Okay. Well, you can look and you can pick the space.
All right, we shall take a look at that.
Thank you for taking some time for me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. You about ready, Richard? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
I was gonna buy you a little bit more time
No,
if you
I'm
needed
good.
it.
I'm good. No, it's going to be continuing. Some days it just feels like everything wants to fall apart on the same day. Hey, Barb.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh my God, everything. I'm okay. I'm just gonna say I'm okay because if I were to start elaborating, it would take more time than we have for me to go through all of the peaks and valleys and all of that. I'm good to go here.
Well, I just shared DJ my drama of the day. I only got my blood pressure up once today so far.
I'm about to get it up. My blood pressure. Literally, I'm supposed to be taking medication for it, which I forget to take half the time. But I've
Uh-oh.
got a couple of doctor's appointments today, and then I've got a dental surgery on Thursday. But every time I go in to see anybody, my blood pressure is sky high. And they're like, wow. And I'm like, no, 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 no. It's not like this just as normally when I'm at work and driving around or whatever. It is because it's this way when I come into a situation like this. Okay. I sent you the photographs of the person who was at the front door of Nancy Guthrie's house.
Oh, I haven't looked at those yet. I heard about it on the news when I was driving down.
Crazy. That is a crazy case. All right. I'm good to go. Let me know when you're
Okay.
ready.
I'm ready.
Count us down. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to your. Whoops. Why don't we start with the beginning? 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado's Real Estate Authority, Barb Schlinker. Barb Schlinker is a retired Navy veteran. Barb is an author. Barb Schlinker is a pilot. And Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have got to offer. Barb, always great to be talking with you. Now, we air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday. If you can't listen to the entire show, it is always available on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or search Barb. You'll find her on most of the podcast platforms like iHeartRadio. So, Barb, what are we talking about in today's show?
Well, Richard, as always, I love talking about these different topics, and I did a lot of research this time on some things that might be helpful to our listeners. The first one's just about the market in general and kind of where the prices are going to go. And are they going to drop in 2026? What's happening? Well, the data is not bearing that out. In fact, the inventory's down and the prices are ticking up a little bit. So that's good news for sellers, a little challenging for buyers because their rates are steady as we go. The next topic is something that has been on my mind. I don't plan on moving anytime soon, but I'm always thinking about decluttering. Like last year, we remodeled a section of our house. So they had us vacate the top floor. And it was kind of a unplanned event, like go, when they told us we had to get out of the top floor, which was challenging, just throwing everything in a box and getting out of their way. So it didn't go as organized as I would like. But then when we got to move back upstairs, what was interesting is many of those boxes never came back upstairs. And it's now been over a year. So obviously I don't need that stuff. So that's one of my to-dos when I have some time off is just get down there and start going through those boxes and declutter. So what we're going to talk about are the top downsizing mistakes and how you can avoid them. And it will also cover some good decluttering tips. And then this next topic I have not covered before, but I put together a list of the top 27 things that you should do before you show your house. And some of them might be a surprise to some people. It'd be kind of fun to talk about that. And there might be pushback, and that's okay. You don't have to do anything we suggest, but it's just good information to help you have success when you do sell a home. And the last thing is just a checklist on getting your house ready for sale. Obviously, we don't present homes to the market the same way we normally live in a home. Like right now, my kitchen counter is just full of stuff. And then we have a dog that figured out he can counter surf. So that's making it very interesting. So we'll talk about how you get ready for sale as well as hot new listings. Richard?
So, Barb, in this market, the interest rates are staying the same. And even though it's prime selling season, not all homes are selling. Do you think the housing prices are going to drop in 2026?
Well, Richard, that has not been my experience, to be honest. Right after the beginning of the year, we started seeing an uptick in the activity of buyers willing to make offers on homes that we had not seen in the last couple of months. Now, I know maybe the government shutdown had something to do with that reluctance to make offers on homes, but there are a couple of other factors that I think are very interesting. One is that the number of available homes for sale is decreasing, which I did not expect that. So as a result, prices are ticking up a little bit, days on market are dropping down, and all across the Front Range, I think we're going to see numbers like that. On the mortgage rate front, it's pretty much more the same. Now, I track it at least once a week, but sometimes more often. And it's been the conventional rate 6.16 at the moment. It might be 6.2 in a few days. It doesn't matter. It's been very much the same. The VA government rates, though, have dropped down at 5.75. So we got a lot of military buyers that take advantage of their VA benefits. So that's a good thing, especially if you couple it with a down payment where you can buy the rates down. Now we're talking affordability in homes. And if you look over time at where mortgage rates have gone, of course, back in 2021 and the first half of 2022, the rates were super low, uncommonly low, kind of caused by governments buying up bonds and stuff like that. So when the rates went up, it was a big sticker shock for a majority of the buyers. It took a lot of buyers out of the market. But since that time, the rates have been gradually, very gradually coming down from the mid sevens to the low sixes now. And now we have buyers that are getting ready to get back in the game. As far as what's going on in all the counties around the Front Range area, what I'm seeing is prices are going back up again. Days on market are getting less again. And it's overall a pretty good market. The only one that's kind of looks a little weak right now is Pueblo. But in general, we're seeing a lot fewer home sellers reducing their prices at this point in all the counties across the Front Range. And we're starting to see an all of a sudden uptick from the beginning of the year in the number of pending sales. For me, that's uncommon because most of the time that doesn't happen until March, April. So I'm pretty excited to see that. I think the market's going to be pretty strong this year in this area. And if you're selling a home right now, the best thing to do to not have to wait 4 or 5 months to get a contract is price your home realistically versus optimistically. If you ask for too much, a lot of people set their target based on maybe what they want to net or what Zillow says, which Zillow is just fake news. They're just showing you homes that haven't sold. That's how they determine their estimate of home value. So I don't believe in that, but it makes people click on their website. That's the benefit of the Zillow's estimate in my mind. So basically, I think it's a mistake for buyers right now to sit on the sideline and wait for rates to fall or wait for prices to fall. I don't see it happening. We went to a quiet area through the fall for various reasons, and now it's going back up again. So that's good. That's a really good sign for home sellers. It's going to be a little tougher for home buyers unless they jump on the best deals right now. And just so you know, the whole marketing front, how a home is presented to the market is absolutely critical. Most of the calls that I get, and I am the one that takes the calls in the company about listings, is they come from buyers directly. I would say 2/3 of them. And they're asking questions about these homes. So we've developed some marketing programs that direct the calls to me rather than some random agent that's never seen the house. And I ask them to call. I throw out things and tell them to call. Like I have a listing right now. It's been on the market a while. It's got very cosmetically challenged. The plumbing's broken. The front siding is a mess. It's way out in Yoder. So I just added to the description this morning because there is an HOA that's mandatory. And I said that the cows that belong to the Yoder family have squatting rights unless you fence them out. Because some of the feedback I'm getting from agents is somebody ought to go out there and clean up that cow poop. Well, I'm not going to do that. It's not going to happen. They have a right to be there unless they're fenced out, but it's a really good deal for that much acreage. So the buyers have to look at the big picture and understand it. Plus, I gave them a link to the HOA site so they can get that question answered. I think it's really important to be able to get a dialogue with the buyer, to give them good information and make them raise their hand and give us a call. Our proven systems are designed to do that, not only for our own list of buyers, but for other buyers out there looking for a home just like that. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call. And what if a home seller has a house to sell? We're one of the few companies in town that actually has a solution for that. We can get almost any homeowner multiple cash offers on their home, some of which are at full market value. And some of these options are that these investors will come in and buy their next home first so they can take their time selling their existing home. Not every agent has that option, and there are quite a few home sellers that need to sell a home before they buy. So Richard, just imagine you have your house on the market, and these are the kind of scenarios that come to me on, unfortunately, a regular basis, where other agents go, oh, well, my buyer really loves your house, but they have a house to sell. So will you reserve your home for me and wait for my buyer to sell their home, which is not even on the market yet? How would you feel about that?
I would not feel very good about that. I would feel good if after finding that out, I gave you a phone call.
Well, thank you. But we can help them too. That's what makes us different. We can actually give their buyer that has a house to sell cash offers on their home to help them make their move to the house that they actually love. So we have a lot of options, a lot of opportunities. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about whether or not the prices are going to drop in 2026. I don't think so. And when we come back, we're going to cover how to get the most money when you sell a house. Richard?
So, Barb, we're here talking with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And you can always reach Barb at 719-301-3900. She is the host of Your Real Estate Voice. In fact, she should be your real estate voice. Barb, we're talking about how to sell your home for the most money? What are some things that home sellers can do? What are some things that home sellers can do to get the most money when they do sell?
Well, what's interesting to me now, as opposed to when I first started in the business now 30 years ago, I hate to say, that really the buyers are making decisions about available homes and whether or not they're even going to spend their gas money to go look at it based on the online presentation of the home. And still to this day, I see agents put homes on the market where they use their smartphone to take pictures, and those tend to sit on the market longer. Buyers want the full picture, and basically you only have less than a minute to make an impression online. Buyers are very familiar with the price range of the homes that they're looking at and whether or not they are priced what I call realistically versus optimistically. So it's always good to be the best deal available for that home in your price range. So make sure that you hire an agent that knows how to create demand, because the buyers are eliminating the choices that they're going to look at in less than a minute if they don't like what they see. So you want to make sure the photos are great. You want to make sure that it's priced correctly, because if you don't price it right, they're just not going to show up. It is pretty obvious once you go on the market if you got one of those factors wrong, marketing or pricing, because they just don't come and see it. So it's really, really important that you put those factors together and pick the right agent. And that's part of what we help people do. People give us a call. We're happy to come out and give them a free in-home consultation on what to do and what not to do to get their house ready for sale. We'll show them what similar homes have sold for. A lot of times the home sellers know that nowadays because of the internet, but we'll give them a really good idea what we think their home will sell for, how much they'll put in their pocket. That way they have a plan to go forward and make their move. So give us a call at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker on Your Real Estate Voice. She's the owner proprietor of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, and you can reach her at 719-301-3900. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing top downsizing mistakes and how you should avoid them. Stay tuned for that. All right, men's room real quick. I'll be right back.
trying to figure out how to put together this tripod. I was never very good at origami and stuff like that. I don't have a mechanical brain.
You got a creative brain, I think.
Just ask Richard. He puts together a tripod just about every other day.
Well, tripods, but not origami. I mean,
It's
I
the
don't
same
even know if
thing.
I've ever- Oh, there you are.
Fortunately, they made them different size screws, so I can't mess it up.
But that is good because you know what? I'm probably in my car right now. If you said, Richard, I'll give you $1,000 for every tripod you have in your car or your bag, I'm like, write me a check for $7,000 because that's probably what I have, right?
I have
But
a bunch in the back.
But you are right. A bunch of those are proprietary. They will only take their own screw, and you can't take a different head and put it on theirs, which I found out the hard way.
Yeah. Which is why you have seven
Exactly.
It's cute. Anyway,
I bought one the other day, probably like a week ago, and I'm like, because we've got this contraption in the studio, I'm like, okay, I'll take care of this. And then I have the little thing like you were showing there.
You saw the duct tape that we use.
Yes, exactly.
It's almost embarrassing, but
I'm like, this will solve the problem. And then I go to put it on a tripod. No, this will not solve the problem because it won't fit.
well, I was told I've got videos I have to do, and I was told I should make them more like cell phone videos rather than professionally done videos for.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. They want.
people like grassroots.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't want you to look like you're in some fancy studio or something.
So you shoot it, very, very well, and then you hire somebody to make it jiggle around, use an
Yeah.
to make it look like it's. Actually, I kind of do that on some of my videos. I'll like walk in from outside, or I'll walk through the halls or whatever.
And don't watch yesterday's show where the camera
Oh my
jumped
God.
off of the
Camera fell off. It's
four
little-
times.
it's
Oh,
taped
it
to the
did?
tripod. Yeah, I'll send you a photograph of it because it's duct tape
That's funny.
there because it fell.
Do you
like-
stream when you do the show?
Yes.
Cool.
On Facebook, yeah.
All right, I'm good to
We
go.
haven't been doing that very long, have we?
No.
It's probably fun to
Less than a
watch.
year.
What's that?
Less than a year.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
less than a year. Yeah. Count us down in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of your home sold realty, the owner broker of your home sold guaranteed realty, and the host of the program. Now, Barb, many people thinking of downsizing or moving to a home with less stairs must think carefully about how to approach a very large project. What are you seeing as the common downsizing mistakes, and how can your listeners avoid them?
Well, I've got some good tips today, Richard, on some things that can really help people thinking of downsizing. Yeah, it's a pretty big project, and I've had some experiences helping folks in the past that it didn't really go as well, or in this case, they waited too long to make the move. Like they've really had to move because of medical reasons. So I helped this lovely couple a few years back where he was facing a really major surgery, one of which he didn't think he was going to survive. And they had to downsize. They were going to move to another state. And the wife at the same time was suffering with some kind of memory issue problem. You couldn't tell from talking to her. She was very nice and very friendly. But he took me aside and said, "Hey, guess what? Next time you show up, she won't know who you are again." And I'm like, okay, and she would do things like just walk out of the house and get lost. And then when we were trying to stage the home to get it ready for photo day, she put everything back like it was. So we came up with a plan where we're like, okay, take her to lunch for a couple of hours and we're going to stage and take the photos at the same time. Then we're good. And that's how it had to work out. But unfortunately, he went into surgery. We started showing the house and there were some issues showing. She had these two little old scraggly poodles. One was black and one was white, and she named them Thing 1 and Thing 2. and they had a lot of accidents on the carpet, so the house didn't smell very good. So fortunately, he brought his sister in from out of state to help him while he was having surgery, and we were able to get everything done and get it sold and pull it together. But it was 10 times harder if you wait too long. So I don't recommend that you do that. Try to get ahead of it as best you can. But at the end of the day, it's moving is never fun. I don't care how often you do it or when you do it. But why do people downsize? Generally, they want to be in a home that's less large and a little bit easier to take care of. Maybe they're moving because of cost. Maybe they're moving because they're not using all of the property that they have, or they don't like stairs, they don't like dealing with snow. All these different reasons would cause people to move. Also, wanting to be closer to family. I will say that's probably the biggest draw for many people downsizing or moving, is going towards family, especially to see those adorable grandchildren. And it's interesting that, you know, that's kind of the tipping point for a lot of people in my generation, is wanting to see grandchildren and move closer to family so they can be a part of their lives on a regular basis. So, couple of things that you can do that you should be aware of that are actually downsizing mistakes. One of them is that a lot of people kind of overestimate what their home is worth based on what they want to get out of it. And in a perfect world, that would be great. In fact, this morning I was talking to a seller and he goes, I said, what? He just bought it recently for about 6. And I said, okay, what do you think it's worth? And he goes, well, 1.5 million. But we both started laughing. I'm like, no, really, what do you think? He goes, well, that's what you're for. So some people will defer to me to help them decide on pricing. But a lot of people are kind of optimistic about it. Like, if I can't get this much, maybe I won't move. But at the end of the day, most people are not going to move unless they have their destination lined up or an area where they know that they're going to go. And don't worry about timing the market. I talk to too many people that are like, oh, I missed the peak or whatever. Just forget about that. This is still a pretty strong market. Make it work for you when you are ready. Don't be rushed into it, because that's the time when you can make mistakes. The market's doing great. A couple of things that you should know about is, don't underestimate the cost of selling. You've got to pay commission, taxes, title. Some repairs are going to have to get done in most cases for most homes. And sometimes the buyers will ask you to pay their loan closing costs. So all these things could come into play, and we'll sit down and talk about that when it's time. Try not to rely on the Zillow's estimates. Those are total fake news. They are solely based on the homes that are active for sale that have not sold. We care more about what is getting contracts and what have sold and your current competition than we do about what happened in the past. What happened in the past is good for appraisal purposes, but the ones that are sitting on the market not selling, you can't really price your home based on that. Another big ticket item that you have to worry about is moving and the cost of moving. So be careful on this. I see a lot of people that might choose to use some of the pod programs, which that means you're doing it yourself, which is a lot of work, or they kind of cheap out and get the cheapest mover. And it's not always the best idea. I actually had somebody that worked for me move across the country, and their moving van got into an accident and crashed. So make sure you have furniture insured, first of all, before you do the move. Because once you're in transit, your homeowner's insurance may not cover your goods. So that's very important to think about. But there's also some scammers out there. I had one client a few years back that went online and was searching for movers. And this moving company somehow found him and called him and came out and gave a bid that looked reasonable based on seeing his home, his household, and the amount of furniture he had. They said, okay, this is how much you'll give us for a down payment. Then on moving day, we'll come and pick it up. On moving day, when they came to pick it up, they're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. That's going to cost $5,000 more to do this. and he kicked him out. He said, get out of here. I'm going to find somebody else. So you got to be really careful about these companies. We can definitely recommend some movers that we trust in the local area. So be careful about that and just kind of plan on these things in advance. Take some time to think about it. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about the top downsizing mistakes. And when we come back, we're going to cover the rest of those mistakes and how you can declutter and how you can avoid those mistakes. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. And we'd love to help you when the time is right. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. You can always reach her at 719-301-3900. And we're talking, Barb, about the top downsizing mistakes and how the listeners can avoid them. What are some other mistakes, Barb? And how do our listeners plan to downsize with ease?
Well, Richard, also underestimating how much stuff there is to go through. That all by itself can be very overwhelming. I remember one of my sellers calling me one day, and she was not in a big property. She was in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath townhome. It wasn't huge, but just in the throes of the whole moving process, she thought she's about done. She called me. She goes, I opened this closet door and it's like stuff through, and she was crying, and it's overwhelming. So you want to try to get ahead of it even before you plan to move. People typically only use about 20% of the stuff that they own. So it should be an ongoing thing. Don't let it accumulate. And it's also an emotional journey. You'll go through stuff that will remind you, like my son built things when he was in elementary school, and he's 30 now, right? But if I got rid of it, I'd feel guilty about it. So plus it gives me some fond memories. So those memories are great, and they're important to keep, but you don't have to keep all the stuff. You know, my family was one of the unfortunate ones that lost a house in the Waldo Canyon fire. My parents had passed away for health issues about 5 months before that happened. And so the house had been cleaned out, pretty much empty with the exception of a few pieces of furniture and the appliances. But when that house burnt down, it was kind of surprising to me how emotional that was to have that loss, because it brought back all the memories that you have in the home. So give yourself some credit for loving on the space that you have. I heard one suggestion from an agent in another market that said, write your house a letter and thank it for all the wonderful memories. So I thought it was really cute. Or, take a picture of stuff that you probably don't want to keep, but you want to keep the memory. That would be a good idea. Another thing to do is when you are decluttering, take it one room at a time, or you will get overwhelmed very, very easily. Key areas that you have to worry about are the same key areas that you focus on when you sell a home: curb appeal, front yard, backyard, the living room, the kitchen, the master bathroom, and the master bedroom. Start with those 5, get those done, and then you can start dealing with the other area, maybe the storage areas in your house, maybe the kids' bedroom that has a desk that you don't need, all these kind of things. Master closet is also important too, because the buyers are looking at the size of that closet. So the best presentation of one of those closets is something that looks very neat and tidy, organized, spacious, airy, all the stuff off the floor. And I learned this 90-day rule to repurpose stuff. So if you have stuff for 90 days that you haven't touched, and you don't think you're going to touch it for another 90 days, maybe it's the time to repurpose, get rid of it, sell it, whatever. So the best sorting method that I found for downsizing is to just put them in 4 categories: keep, donate, trash it, or sell it. Now, the selling thing is, I've talked to clients that have done this. They'll use like Facebook Marketplace. And I found that the people that want stuff that come and pick up stuff sometimes are pretty flaky. They'll say, oh yeah, I'm going to be there, and then they forget, or somebody else gets it and then they're mad. So you may or may not want that kind of interaction with random buyers on Facebook Marketplace. So another option might be to use a secondhand furniture store if you really think it has value that somebody else might appreciate it, or donate it to a charity that you trust. And just address some of the dreaded areas like the junk drawer. Make sure that any shoes that you're not wearing, that you want to go ahead and get rid of them. Dresser drawers are some of the things, clothing are some of the things that you could do on a regular basis before you plan to move, just to get it done. And kitchen items. So what my husband did to me is he got tired of looking at it. So he emptied out half of my kitchen drawer, took it downstairs somewhere where I can't see it anymore. I've never seen those things again. So I get frustrated if I turn around and look for something on the few times that I am cooking and can't find it. But I think I just bought new ones is what I ended up doing. So, keep the stuff that you really use and get rid of the stuff that you don't. Things like an apple peeler. I bought one of these that clenches to the cabinet. Have you ever used one of those, Richard?
I have not, but they look kind of interesting.
It's ridiculous. It's got a prong that you put the apple on and then you wind it to get the peel off. It is the messiest, clunkiest thing. It's huge. I don't even know why I had one because I didn't like it. But anyway, also think about the space that you're moving into when you do move. Maybe even measure your furniture and then look at the room measurements of where you are going to go, just to make sure that you're not dragging all that stuff across the country that you may just get rid of when you get there. And make sure the sentimental items, of course, are well protected and preserved. And of course, you could donate furniture. A lot of these charities will actually come and pick up furniture that you may want to repurpose. Or if they won't, we let our clients use our moving van for free. For me, it's a giant billboard, so I'm always happy it's driving around, but you're welcome to use it if just give us a call. And a couple of packing tips, and this will apply for showings too. Things like jewelry, make sure you put them in a safe place. Things like important paperwork, your iPad, have a first day box, for your move. That would include coffee, toiletry supplies, phone chargers, bedding, iPads, passwords, things that you're going to touch almost on a regular basis. Very, very important, so that you can make it more smooth. And I'm just in the process right now of building this cute little booklet I'm calling the Declutter and Downsize Planner. So if you'd like to get a copy of that gives you detail like this, call us at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Barb, you and your team are the only company I'd recommend to people out there who are thinking of selling their homes and downsizing to a smaller home. How can they get more information? Well, they just call 719-301-3900 or go ahead and visit Barb Has the Buyers. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing the top 27 things to do before you show your home. We'll talk with Barb about that. There you go.
Did I go too long, DJ? Too many stories, maybe.
Your stories are always good. You should have a 3-hour show.
No,
It's
it's too much work.
Well,
I don't even know how you do your 2 hour.
Well, but I have to say, some of these in the afternoon, we have a couple of hours worth of shows. And I honestly, if I don't care how much they said, well, we can have somebody else do this. And if you came to me ever and said, Richard, what do you think about an hour and a half show? I'd say, no. I mean, I think this is the ideal time. I don't think you can get into enough stuff in just a half an hour. But I think
it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Oh my God.
More than people think. They think I'm just getting on here, yapping.
And just winging it. Oh my God. Folks, you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what you think.
And I do a music show, and that's 10 to 30 seconds worth of talking, and I map out all that. So,
yeah. Wow.
I mean,
here's what I know. I know if we wanted to, I could tell them, guess what? I'm not going to be in today. I'm going to go ahead and take a sick day, and we're going to have Barb Schlinker and David do my show. You guys would do a great show.
I'd be in so much trouble. I'm
Oh
probably
no,
too
that I didn't
opinionated.
say. No, I didn't say you wouldn't get in trouble.
If you want me to talk about politics, oh my God.
I did not say that the two of you would not get in trouble, and I'd never be able to.
I'd probably spend the whole show trying to keep her out of trouble.
I know.
Right.
Hit the dump switch.
Oops,
Hit it again.
dip that.
Hit it
Drop
again.
that. Uh-oh.
Edit
We
that.
have no more to punt.
Uh-oh, I have a part left over on this tripod. I wonder where it goes. Oh boy.
It's always a bad sign to have extra parts.
Yes. I'm like, oh, not good.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Segment 3. You got that over there?
Yes.
I wrote a letter to the Olympic Committee last night.
What'd you say?
Complaining about these athletes, you know, trashing our country on the international stage, and we're paying for it.
Yep.
I'm mailing that sucker. It's not fair. It's like, I don't care what their opinions are, you know, that is not the place to do it on our dime, you know.
At all. I mean, I know they're young and they're stupid, but it ought to be just a thing. And oh, you got the right. No, you're representing us. If I go out and I'm standing on the corner, I can say whatever the hell I want to. If I put on a KBOR hat and jacket and go out there and I'm representing KBOR, KBOR has the ability to tell me, Richard, don't say anything about this or this or this. Because I'm on their dime, and that's what these people. We're not taking their freedom of expression. They can say whatever they want to on their own time, but
yeah, they have freedom of speech, just not when we're paying for it.
You got it.
I was, oh man, my letter is brutal. It basically just says, you know, they haven't sacrificed anything but a few extra workouts, but people have sacrificed for our country, and if they don't respect that, they shouldn't be there. That's what I think.
Well, and you know, and there's a couple of questions there. I was looking at, there's a snowboarder from the United States who's representing China. Well, then what the hell are you doing here? I mean, you know, if that's your deal, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, move to China.
Move to China.
See how he likes that.
I mean, these people, they are all spoiled, and you know, part of it is, and I did say this on the air, that a lot of it is that they get egged into it by, you know, the reporters just asking them the questions and stuff. But somebody, a coach or somebody, should have said beforehand, you know what, they're going to ask you about this and this and this. You don't have to answer any of it. You can just say, I'm here to ski.
Talk about your sport.
Yeah.
I tell you, it made me not be a fan.
Pretty
I'm just like,
to do.
Not watching it.
Pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
All right. I'm good. You got a clock? David's got a clock. I'll count us down. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner-broker of Your Home Sold, Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, we're heading into that spring selling season, so how do home sellers prepare to present their homes, and what should they do when they're expecting a showing?
Well, Richard, putting a home on the market is another pretty big project, and you want to make a really great first impression when they come to look at the home. There's so many reasons why a buyer might reject a home, but many times they're rejecting the home before they get there if it's not presented properly. You want to be the best home at the best price, and that's the way you get the most money. And I think buyers now, they're very well versed on what's available on the market. They probably know more than real estate agents when they see a good buy. So they want to make sure that the home is presented to create the best demand for the home, and that's the way they can get the best offer. So in general, when somebody wants to view your home, you want to make sure, first of all, that it's presented right online. Zillow has a new quote that they're talking about now, which makes total sense to me, which is screen appeal is the new curb appeal. Now, it could be the phone screen, computer screen, whatever. Most people are searching on their phones nowadays. If they don't like what they see, they are not going to show up. It's just that simple. Online is your first showing, and that has to be correct. So what do you take out when you show a house? Now, if it's vacant, it's a different story. But if you're living in the home, you want to make sure that the buyers are not distracted with your stuff and your lifestyle. They are there to visualize themselves living in that home. So the first thing you want to take out is you. You should leave for showings. That's what most people suggest. Now, some people can't, and I understand that, and that's fine. But if you can, you should leave. Number 2, pets. Lizards. I've seen lizards. I've seen snakes. I had one client that actually had an aquarium in the basement full of scorpions. That really grossed me out. Now, they don't live in this climate. Fortunately, they moved out first before they sold, because that was going to be difficult to deal with. But at the end of the day, they're not pleasant. They don't look good. They don't smell good. If you could find a way to rehome them for a while, at least while you're showing, probably a good idea. Same with cats and dogs and other critters. Kids. Now, actually, we're not allowed to go into a house and show it with the kids there. So unless the parents are there with them. So that's a definite must have. Any excess unused cars need to go. Richard, does your household have a pile of remotes on the family room counter?
Not on the counter, but if you go in the living room, there is a remote drawer that I think has every remote from every device we've owned in the past 30 years, but not sitting on the counter.
Just last night, I picked up one and went, oh, this isn't the right one. You know, there's multiples. I don't even know what they're for, but they don't look pretty when you're showing. Another thing that you really must take out or must be very careful and lock up are prescription meds. I hate to say this, but there are some people that go into houses and start rifling through your stuff to get just that kind of stuff. And a lot of times, even though they might be escorted by an agent, the agent's not paying attention. They get distracted by the spouse, and the other one's over there rifling through the medicine cabinet trying to get some drugs. So be very careful about those things. Any mouse or ant traps, pick those up, please, for showing. Pet bowls also don't look good. Of course, valuables. So I have a story about that. I took over a listing from somebody that had the house listed, and really pretty home up in Florissant. It wasn't very expensive, but it had great views, very well maintained. And they had purchased the home when I had it listed years before. Then they decided to sell again. They listed with another agent and they weren't happy with her. So they hired me. So that's how I know the story. But part of the story with the former agent was that some agent came along and was showing her buyer, and this other couple showed up kind of tagging along saying, hey, can I follow along? Can I look at the house while you have it open? And that agent let them in. That should never happen because she didn't know who they were. So of course, she's upstairs with her buyer. The buyers are downstairs, and they rifled through the drawers, the dresser drawer, and stole an Apple Watch. And this was somebody that was very careful and had created a go bag for showing, but she forgot about the Apple Watch. And so she noticed when she got home that her bedspread didn't look the same. She looked in there and, oh, there it was. So another thing that you can do to kind of protect yourself, because this happens all the time. I hear a lot of frustration from home sellers about it, that agents will show up late. They'll show up early. They'll schedule a showing and no show. And they're not thoughtful enough to let the seller know that they're not going to be there. So imagine you've got kids and dogs and pets and cats and whatever you're taking out for the showing, you leave and they don't show up and they don't cancel. That would make me mad. I would tell you that. But there's ways around it. You can wait until they get there before you leave, especially if it's a big inconvenience for you. That's fine. Also, have some cameras, have some Wi-Fi. It's really not that expensive. I've had some sellers that would just go down the street and they'd be sitting there waiting for the car to show up, and they'd watch and they'd see how long they were there. I had one tell me when they sold their house in another state that the buyers were in the house for 4 hours. Now that's outrageous. It doesn't take 4 hours to even walk through a big house, maybe an hour at the most. So you just want to kind of plan for that, and don't be surprised if they misbehave. And there's nothing wrong if they're staying too long for you to come home and say, I'm sorry, I need my house back, right? And it's okay also to restrict showing times. There are some agents out there that'll say, oh, make your home available all the time. No, I don't agree with that. You can restrict showings based on what works for you. There's nothing wrong with that. And the way our online system works now, which is owned by Zillow, of course, is that you could block out showings so they cannot schedule during those hours. And technically the agents you could put restrictions to limit only. I have a lot of sellers saying, I only want qualified buyers. Well, here's the thing. Some buyers are looking before they've actually verified with the lender they qualify, but they kind of know, they know their finances, right? So it might be an unnecessary restriction on them. Also, the agents in this state are not required to verify the buyer has the ability to buy. That's why I call them Pop-Tart agents. I had that one story a couple of years ago, very, very expensive home, where I think it was the listing agent that got a call that they wanted to see this expensive home. And of course, in her mind, she'd already spent the commission. She met him at the door, didn't know anything about these people. And this home had a safe room. Now, you don't have to show every room in the house. You can wait until you have a contract, or wait and otherwise before you show certain private rooms in a house if you want to. And in this case, the seller was home. The agent was walking through with this alleged buyer. He gave them their real name. And it turned out that after they he kept asking, I want to be in the safe room. I want to see the safe room. And the seller wouldn't let him in. After he left, he looked up his name, and this guy had just got let out of prison. So that's what I'm saying. The agents don't have any obligation to do it. People are naturally lazy. Some agents are naturally lazy. They don't check. And in their mind, oh my God, I'm going to make all this commission. I meet them at the house and maybe they'll buy it. That's how they work. So technically, according to the new rules, the agents are supposed to have a written agreement with the buyer, but the agreement's only supposed to talk about how they get paid if they buy the house. And there's no agreement police. Nobody's checking. There's no oversight on this. So I am sure, based on what I'm seeing in my open houses, some of these agents that show up to meet their buyer, they've never met them before. They met them online somehow, or they somehow connected with them online. And the first time they're actually putting eyes on the buyer is at the house. They don't even know if they can buy a couch on Craigslist. So you can put restrictions on there about it. You can actually ask the agent to have them deliver a pre-qualification letter or proof of funds before they show if you want. And then what about somebody that has a sale contingency? You know, not everybody has a solution for sale contingency. Some do and some don't. But at the end of the day, hang on, let me pause just a sec. Oh my God. I don't know what I clicked, but it wasn't the right slide. Man, I clicked Loom. How did I do that? Okay. All right. I'm ready to go. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So if somebody has a house to sell, that's good. It's good that they like their home, that they love. If somebody has a house to sell, it's good that someone likes your home and has interest in buying your home. And some people will find a way to make it happen. At the end of the day, the only good buyer that has a house to sell is one that currently has a contract. So that means they've already obligated to sell their house and they're going through the process. It's not ideal, but it's acceptable. You can work with it. But a lot of the offers I'm getting, they haven't even put their house on the market. And they're saying, oh, well, you reserve this house for me, we have solutions for them. We have cash offers, we have trade-up programs. So if you do run into that problem, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show. And we're talking about the things that you should do before you show your house. And next up, we're going to continue the rest of those things. Richard?
Barb, people can get in touch with you simply by going to 719-301-3900 or, of course, barbhasthebuyers.com. So, Barb, what are some other things that home sellers should be doing before they even allow their home to be shown?
Well, before you actually present it to the market, I would absolutely take care of some of these things, which is part of getting ready for sale. Replace soiled carpet, neutralize any dramatic colors, even pillows. Bright red or orange pillows just stand out online, and you want it soft and neutral. Remove heavy furniture. Almost everybody has a dining room set that has 8 chairs and you only use maybe 4, maybe 6, but the other 2 chairs are sitting there. Pack those away, put them in the garage. Make sure everything in the bathroom is cleared off. Nobody wants to look at a plunger. Nobody wants to look at all your toiletries and toothbrushes and all that makeup and stuff sitting on the counter. Put that away. And same with cars and things like that. Some other things you want to be very careful of, and I see this all the time, is that agents will put those wick air fresheners in the outlets. And in an empty home, those are overwhelming. My sister-in-law is actually allergic to those things. So I used to have to do the bloodhound nose recon when I was showing her houses when she bought a house here before she went in, because those things would make her sick. Make sure you fix broken stuff. Smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors, they're looking for those to be less than 10 years old. Make sure you secure your valuables and any personal paperwork items, just don't have those out. And be aware of what the market is doing, especially with homes like yours, because that will give you a benchmark of how it's going, how long it's going to take, and whether or not they're getting a contract. And, buyers really won't come out and look at homes that buyers won't really come out and take a look at homes that aren't marketed correctly. It's kind of like online dating. You have to make sure you get that right first. So buyers need to visualize themselves in the home, which means that basically what you're going to do is kind of depersonalize it as much as possible. And not every buyer is going to love your home. That's okay. It only takes one. So if you do get an offer and the offer is not what you want, don't kill the messenger. Work with them. The worst thing you can do is reject them or repel them, because that might be enough where they won't come back, even though that house is suitable for them. And to me, that's a classic sales prevention business when that happens. So if you are thinking of making a move, we'd love to help you. Give us a call at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you're listening to the Real Estate Voice and want to get in touch with Barb Schlinker, that number is 719-301-3900, or as always, you can visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing a checklist to get your home ready to sell, plus Barb's hot new listings. Don't miss that. Okay, I need 1 second.
Was I too gross with the scorpions?
No, I don't think you were too gross with the scorpions.
Okay, good. That's a true story.
Yeah.
I was shocked. Who has pet scorpions? It was weird.
I don't know anybody who has had multiple, but I have met people who had one.
Well, they had babies.
Okay.
And I'm just thinking, oh my God. If the buyer knew that was in that house.
Oh, that's so gross.
I don't think they live in this climate anyway, thank God.
think we're a drying of climate, but I think we're too cold.
Yeah, it's too cold because they live in Arizona and places like that, right?
Arizona, I've seen them in New Mexico, parts of
Southern California.
Texas. Yeah.
That's one thing nice about Colorado. Not much in the bug front.
Absolutely. I think smart people put it into their marketing and say, hey, look.
Actually, a good idea.
Especially if people are coming from places like Florida and well,
Texas.
even the middle section of the country.
Yeah. Texas has
family,
roaches big as birds.
Yeah, most of my family is from Nebraska, and I've seen some big old mosquitoes.
Yeah. Okay.
As okay as it can be, I guess.
Well, I mean, is it manageable at the moment?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
Okay, hang on 1 second.
Final segment too, so. And I do have a 1 o'clock.
I know, I'm going as fast as I can.
No worries.
All right, I'm ready.
Richard just needs one more thing and we'll get going again.
Oh, gosh.
He's back on the sauce, if you will.
Yeah. That didn't last long, did it? All right. Here we go. I'm good to go if you're ready to go.
Ready to go.
All right. Count us down in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. As the real estate market marches on, getting a house ready to sell is the question often asked by people who are even thinking of selling their home. So, Barb, why do most people need a checklist to get their house ready for sale?
Well, I just think it's a big project. People don't do it every day, and they need to plan ahead. And some things, some people's houses don't have clutter; they're neat and tidy, and they don't need much. But even the excuse me, even the most beautiful homes that I've seen could use a little help on the preparation for photo day front. So that's part of what we do, myself and my team. We help you get ready for what to do, what not to do to get the house ready for sale. And sometimes a really small, easy, inexpensive thing can bring the biggest return on your investment. I mean, buyers essentially want everything perfect. They don't want popcorn ceilings. They want it to be priced right. They want the house to be beautiful. But they can't in any price range. It's true. A lot of buyers don't want to do any work. If they have to do work, they're going to pass on the home. So the first thing that we do when we're starting with sellers is we ask them what is important to them. Most people want the most money, but not everybody. There's been some that said, I want to sell it fast versus getting the most money. So that's a different strategy. You may not have to do any kind of marketing. Actually, we had one gentleman come in our office last year and said, sell my house fast, do it now. And we did. It never hit the market. The buyer was happy, the seller was happy, and everything worked out great. Now, here's what happens typically with most agents is that they will come in and go, oh, I can get you $1 million, on your house, which would be great. However, is that really true? And are they saying that just to put the sign up? And then they have other agents show, and the other agents will be the bad guy and say, oh, it's priced too high. My buyer didn't like it. They found better homes, that kind of thing. So if you go straight on the market with the highest possible price, it may not be the fastest way to sell the home. The two of them are basically inversely related. Now, the good news is the days on market are dropping again. That's really good all along the Front Range, and the prices at the same time are ticking back up. So if you hire an agent, usually the number one question I get is, what do I fix? What do I not fix to get the home ready for sale? Usually I have most of the answers, but I sometimes will defer to my stager if it's like a color choice, because I don't think I'm great at that. I will ask them to help them with it. I had one seller recently that got an inherited home, and it was very much a 1980s time warp. It had the mauve pink carpet and the mauve pink flowers. The kitchen was not updated, but it was a huge house square footage wise in a location where there are a lot of custom expensive homes. So that essentially was their competition. And so they asked me, do we update this kitchen with its tile counters and its white appliances? I said, no, you're not going to get the money out of it, because somebody can go right next door and get a similar custom home that's 20 years newer, that's got all the bells and whistles. So what I suggested is they price it realistically, which in this market is only a small percentage point at full market value. And that's exactly what they did. We had a massive crowd at the open house. We got 6 offers, and it still went on to sell for $75,000 over asking. So it's a lot of strategy. It's really fun to work that way because everything gets done quickly. Now, what should you do? New appliances, maybe, if they're broken. Not all price ranges command granite or luxury vinyl flooring. Those products are pretty expensive. So you really need a professional to help you decide what are the improvements that you should do and what should you not do. So these are the rooms that you should focus on. Number one, curb appeal. Even in the wintertime, it's very important. It's a little bit harder. The yards look so much prettier in the summertime in this climate. However, curb appeal is really, really important. It is your first impression. So you want to do things like, do you have any dead trees? Give them a haircut. If you have any bushes that need a haircut, trim them down, refresh the mulch beds or rock beds, whatever it takes. And then focus on the backyard. Same thing, just clean up the backyard, clean up anything that just looks rough. Like when I look at our backyard, my husband built what's left of a tree house. It's like a platform stuck up on the trees. If we were going to sell it, that'd be number one on my list. Get rid of that because nobody's been up on it. It's probably downright dangerous for kids to play around on. Same thing with trampolines, junk in the yard. All those things can be easily handled, and you could probably do it yourself. The next room, very, very important, is the living room. So most people tend to put too much furniture in their living room. And in that living room, they've got, extra stuff and a lot of tchotchkes and doilies and rugs and toys. And buyers are going to pass on a house that's showing a lot of clutter. So you have to make sure you really stream that down. The feedback that we get a lot of times after they're done with our stagers is, wow, it doesn't feel like anybody lives here. I'm like, I know, that's the idea. But on camera, it looks really good. Same with the kitchen. Everything off the counters, the rugs picked up, fix any broken stuff. Only the coffee pot on the counter. Don't leave an air fryer out. Don't leave your crock pot out. Don't leave your blender out. Find a way to put those away because you want to give the impression of lots of counter space, very spacious, clean and fresh. Master bathroom is the next most important room. And that room also has to be clean, 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 updated plumbing and light fixtures, everything off the counter. Get rid of all the cleaning stuff and the toiletries, pick up the rugs, put away the shampoo just for photo day, make it look good. When you do that, you'll get a good turnout. Like we just helped a seller sell a home that really wasn't updated, but it was priced right. It was clean and fresh paint, fresh carpet. That's all they did, and repaired a little thing on the Formica counter. And we had 100 people at the open house, and we got offers 40,000 over asking price. So those are the things that are very important. Depersonalize. I've heard different schools of thought on this. I mean, I've actually seen people that had a massive walls of their whole life story. You're going to have to take those down. You know, it's okay to have a picture or two, but the whole family story, it's very distracting for a buyer. Again, you want the buyer to walk in and go, oh, I could see myself living here. I love it. I'll take it. That's what you want. Make sure you repaint dramatic colors. That's pretty much any dramatic color, especially in those key rooms, master, great room. I had one seller that had a vaulted ceiling that was Bronco orange, and they loved the Broncos. Okay, I had them paint it, which they weren't too happy with me about it, but it made their house sell in just a few days. And odors are also something that a lot of people are kind of nose blind to, but make sure you take care of odors. Things like pet odor, obviously, cooking odors, anything that you could think of that might be there. And then, of course, fix the broken things. The broken doorbells drive me crazy. When I approach a house when I'm showing, I'm like, it just doesn't look like it's cared for when you do that. I recently showed a home that had a swamp cooler in it, and they hadn't changed the filter. It was a vacant, nice, staged home. But they hadn't changed the filter in the swamp cooler, and it smelled like dirty diapers. Now, the agent denied it and told us that we stunk and all that stuff. So, okay, but we found out it was actually that they weren't maintaining the swamp cooler, and it was causing that smell. Pricing is absolutely critical. If you don't get pricing right, they just won't come, and or you'll get showings and no offers. And promotion is absolutely critical. So the way our system works here is they'll tell the agents, okay, go get pictures, put it up in the multiple listing service, and hope and pray somebody wants the house. That is their marketing strategy. There's no effort to really say what makes the home special, right? And we have ways around the MLS rules so that we can really promote the home for what makes it special. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show. And we're talking about a simple checklist where you can get your home ready for sale. And next up, we're going to talk a little bit more about items on the checklist and my hot new listings. Richard?
So we're talking with Barb Schlinker, host of the program, owner, broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is your real estate voice. You can reach Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Now, Barb, you've prepared a checklist to help people prepare their homes for sale. Is it simply on how the home looks?
It's mostly that, plus it's pricing. Pricing is absolutely the number one thing. I've had homes that weren't so nice that sold for a premium because we presented them properly to the market and that they were priced right. So we do different marketing techniques to really attract the buyers to the home. But in general, you want to make sure that the home is decluttered, fixed up, and if you want to command top dollar, you have to price it what I call realistically versus optimistically. Anytime somebody prices in something for negotiating room, the buyers, it won't take much. It's 1 or 2 percentage points and they're moving on. Also consider doing a pre-inspection. Why do I say that? We call them our certified pre-owned homes because you can get ahead of problems before you're in a bind where you've accepted a contract. Now you only have 2 or 3 weeks to move, and oh no, I got to negotiate all these repairs as well. Nobody likes that part. This is the best time to get ahead of it. And you can say with your certified pre-owned homes that we've already inspected it. We're certifying it. We're only going to fix what's on the certified list. Whatever you want or your Joe, Billy, Bob inspector wants, it doesn't matter. It's just good for you to know. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
We're here with Barb Schlinker on your real estate voice. If you're thinking of selling your home, you want to get the most amount of money, of course, then visit barbhasthebuyers.com or call Barb at 719 301 3900. Barb, favorite time of the show, hot new listings, the lightning round.
Absolutely. We have one for $49.99, just a low expensive, a low cost condo down in the southwest part of town that's offered as a short sale. And the reason a short sale means that they're asking the seller to accept less than what's owed because the value dropped below what he owes. And it's a really good buy. It's a great opportunity for a rental property, but it might take a few months to get that one closed. We have a great property on 35 acres out in Yoder, where the cows have squatting rights to walk around the property unless you fence them out. But it's a really good buy at 179. Another good buy up in Florissant on County Road 100. This 2-bedroom, 2-bath home would be the perfect mountain getaway, and that home is priced in the low 200s. Another great townhome in the southwest part of town on Autumn Heights, priced at $274,999. Beautiful home on Meade Avenue, kind of close to where Fillmore and Circle meet near the country club. Great location, rancher. Also a house that's a VA repo on El Paso that needs some remodeling, but it could be a real good buy for someone. Great home up in Florissant on Stevens Drive. My colleague has a beautiful 2-story with a 3-car garage at Mineral Belt. And then we have a fantastic ranch out on Judge Orr, priced at $1.39 million. This gorgeous property has a beautiful custom home, over 5,400 square feet, plus an auxiliary living unit that's almost 3,000 square feet, parking for at least 11 cars, 2 barns for your 4-legged family members. Great property. So if you're interested in that, give me a call. We have a great lot up in near Lake George on Hidden Valley at a very low price. And then a spectacular home in Florissant at $2.15 million that has a detached workshop, garage, and ADU, auxiliary living space, dwelling unit, whatever they call it, within it, plus RV parking and absolutely breathtaking views for the entire mountain range in southern Colorado. Also coming soon, a fantastic Powers Corridor home in the low 4s with a 3-car garage, a ranch, and then a beautiful 4-bedroom home near the Valley High Golf Course in the low 3s. To find out about all of our homes, go to barbhasthebuyers.com, click on featured properties, or give us a call at 719-301-3900. Richard?
You've been listening to Your Real Estate Voice. It airs every Saturday. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. And you can see replays of the show on her YouTube channel, Barb Has the Buyers, or listen on the podcast. It'll be on all the popular podcast platforms like Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and many, many others. Thank you for listening. Again, give Barb a call, 719-301-3900. Barb, great talking with you. Have a great week. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, and happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, I forgot about that. Dang.
Don't forget about that.
I won't do that. He had to step across to start the show on the other